Welcome back to the Wildcard Podcast. Once again, we got a special treat with Caleb Tagg here with us for part 2 of last week's episode, where we're interviewing Caleb, just getting to know his story from a fellow wildcard type of guy, dropped out of college, went to the Union. So we're going to pick up right where we left off last episode with him talking about going into the Union. But with that being said, let's get into it. So we left off last episode with you kind of being in the Union. You know, you were trusting God, and there were moments where you wanted to leave, but you knew God wanted you to stay. You had to stay in that hard thing and learn from that. So let's start off here. Just want to know, like, what was the biggest thing you learned from being in the Union? And then, like, when was that moment where you really felt like God giving the okay, like, okay, it's time to move on to something else?
So the last year, in February, I worked one job for 2.5 years and then got laid off for 2 months. And during those 2 months, met the guy who owns the coffee shop that I'm working at. Mm-hmm. And that's also, like, I think the biggest thing is asking the Lord to move, mm-hmm. and giving God the space and having the faith that he will move. And that's, like, if I had never joined the Union, even though I hated nearly every second of it, and that was like waking up every single day being like, I do not want to do this, but having to, like, there are so many days I woke up 5 minutes before I had to leave. Like, I had to leave to be on work on time. And that was also, like, just growing up of being like, I gotta be on time, like, especially for just a real job and for construction. If you're 1 minute late in construction, they're like, turn around, try it again tomorrow. Like, you cannot be late. And so there's so many, like, doing something that I hated every single day, and it was easy. Mm-hmm. It was, I'll say, it's simple, but wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was the simplest job in the world, but just, mm-hmm. I would get off working 8 hours, mm-hmm. and I was alone in a machine all day, and I was exhausted. Yeah. And then the 2 months where I had it off, you invited me to work at the Chris Kindle Market for one of your friends was, like, managing. Yeah. And I remember I worked a 10-hour shift there, working the register the entire time.
Dude, that was such a fun shift.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun. And just working there was but, like, that was my first time actually working a customer service job. I worked 10 hours standing up in the cold.
Dude, it was freezing.
It was I almost
remember that first week you came, dude. Bro. It was, like, so cold they almost had to shut down the market. It was freezing. I think I had, like, a t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, 2 hoodies, and, like, a coat on, and I was still cold, bro.
I remember I wore the wrong shoes the first shift I wore, and I remember like walking, and my feet felt like wood. Like, legitimately, I could not feel, and, like, driving all the way back, I had the heat blasting on my feet. Oh, gosh, yes. And 20-minute drive home, they started to, like, feel numb. Yeah, and it was so bad. But that was the first time I had worked a customer service job, like a real customer service job. And I got off a 10-hour shift working the register the entire time. Yeah. And I was like, I had energy. Yeah. I was like, what is this?
I remember you, like, talking to me after it, being like, dude, maybe I should actually go into customer service. Like, I love this. Like, maybe I should become a waiter or a barista or something. Like, this is so fun. He was like, I love getting to interact with people. I love getting to serve them. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it sounds exactly like something Caleb would love doing. Mm. So,
also, another side note, I went back to Chris Kindle Market this year thinking about working there.
Yeah.
Went past the same booth we worked at. Dude, they look so much nicer now.
Dude, it did.
We're working in that booth last year. We had grease dripped on the back of my neck.
Ceiling,
it was everything
insanity.
Was layered in grease, and now they've got, like, a nice tin wall.
Yeah, and ventilation.
Oh, dude, I was like, screw this. What is this?
Bro, like, I know, because, well, me and Abby went back too, because that's, like, where we first met. Mm-hmm. And we went back.
Really?
Yeah, that was like the first time we met was working the market together. Yeah. And, like,
she wasn't working. I never worked with her.
Well, she worked the day before Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's the only one?
Okay. But she only worked one day.
Yeah.
And so that was when we first kind of, like, had an actual real conversation with each other. But, like, we went back there and we were like, bro. But
they don't know.
Oh, who was it?
They don't know what we went through.
Was it Pastor John? I think it was Pastor John told me. He was like, or someone was telling me they went back and they tried the mushrooms and everything. They were like, didn't taste as good.
I mean, I tried it.
And I was
I
like,
enjoyed it. I still liked it. It was good.
And they were like, but they didn't taste as good as last year.
Yeah,
and I was
probably
like,
true.
well, that's because last year
We had you and Micah.
we had a bit more
We had
seasoned people.
we had the blackest white man working, and then we had the whitest black man working.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We'll cut that. I'm
No, it's
Love
a joke.
Micah.
It's funny. We love our boy Micah. He actually comes, so you guys should too. Come on Saturdays at 11 a.m. to our meetings. He'll be here later this afternoon.
Sweet. Oh, it is Saturday. Anyway, continue.
Bro's driven over here.
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, remember that last episode? And it just goes in your mind.
Dude, that was last week. That was so long ago.
Anyways, but yeah, I remember it was like not an environment where most people would actually like be happy and have fun. Like they would hate that.
Mm-hmm.
But like
we had music playing.
Yeah,
we were singing.
Like
we were
music. We were just vibing.
People walk up.
Dude.
It's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Be a little flirty. Get some tips. It's the best. But that was
back
yeah,
back when we were
both single. Well, I mean,
you still are.
Single, but
hey, ladies,
chill. But that was working that job was the first time. Like 8-hour shift, I would work on that job I worked for 2.5 years. Easiest job ever.
Yeah.
But get off an 8-hour shift driving home exhausted. Like I remember like trying to go to the gym, and I'm like a couple times I would like just keep on driving because I was like, I am so tired. And I would take naps during the day. Like I would have so much free time, but I was alone by myself for 8 hours and getting off work, falling asleep. And then working a 10-hour shift, standing up. And I was like, this is incredible. I love this. And I had the thought 2.5 years ago where I was like, I think I would love to open a coffee shop. Like working, like making that environment where people are welcome, they want to come in, you have that community, and then also being able to use it for like, hey, we're gonna have a worship night, we're gonna have a Bible study, I can do this, like being able to use that space for the Lord as well. I had that thought like 2.5 years ago, but then like, you know, I have so many friends, and like they were mentors at the time as well, and other friends, and like I would say something, and they're always like, well, what about this, and this? Well, what about money? What about? I'm like, brother, I just thought about this. Like,
this is an idea.
This is just an idea.
Well,
this is not time to have rubber meet the road to like start going on this. It's like, this is something I would love to do.
Yeah. That I like what you said there, because I think for people like us and a lot of entrepreneurs, like the way just our minds think, is like we typically are a lot more visionary. Yeah. It
was like
and
the
so
blue
it's like
sky.
And so sometimes it's like, hey, this is an idea, this is a vision, and we like, also for us who are external processors, we like tell our friends about that, and then the logical ones are like, well, what about this, and this, and then it just like kills the vision, and it never happens. Yeah. And so like that's one thing I would like to say too, just even for those of you that are out there that might be more visionary minded, don't let logistics kill the vision, let it fuel it.
Yeah. It's an important part.
Because with you too, like that's where this journey started. Was having that vision and that desire, and that led you to where you're at now. So like I think that's important. And then like if you're a friend of a visionary, just let them tell you their vision. Like they are probably honestly just telling you their idea. Yeah. And especially if they're creative minded, they're just telling you the vision. And it's not even that they want logistics figured out right now, or they're actually going to do it. That's just the vision that they have. It's a desire, and they're just processing that to you. So sometimes just some practical advice for maybe parents of visionaries, friends of visionaries, spouses of visionaries, girlfriends, boyfriends of visionaries. Like if your friend, family, spouse, significant other is like more kind of like-minded as to a lot of us in Wildcard, where they kind of think different, which is why a lot of us take a different route than most other people, and don't go to college or don't do this or don't do that. It's because our minds have been wired to envision things and to then take action. And so when we're in that envisioning stage, make sure you're very careful as to like what you say, because don't kill the vision, actually help fuel it. Well, and don't overwhelm it too, like drown it out. Yeah. Like it's okay to be like, hey, that's a great vision. I love your vision. Have you thought about this?
Well, and
they'll probably be like, no, this is just a vision.
Yeah. And it depends. You can say the same thing in two different ways and have two different outcomes.
Exactly.
You like telling someone like, hey, like I want to do this. It's like, well, have you thought about this? Like that's impossible because of this reason. Yeah, and you're like, exactly. Okay, well, I haven't even like, but then you're like, hey, like that sounds awesome. Like you could do that. Like for an example, my whole family, like I've said before, was very risk adverse. And there's nothing wrong with that too. Like there are different types of people. I mean, even what the Bible says of the different body parts of the church, like the church has different functions. Like not everybody should be the same way.
No, yeah.
But most of my family, on both sides of my family, have worked the same job for 30 plus years or whatever. Like maybe they changed a little bit, but they've done the same thing. They would just safe work, and that's great too. Like that's there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But like talking to my mom when I was young, I guess not when I was young, I was maybe 19, 20, and so long ago. Yeah, when this guy right here, his children, and looking at a really nice house, and I was like, I'm gonna own a house like that one day. And she was like, how? And I was like, well, okay, but like that you could like that's and especially in like in America and places like that where you can start something and you have to be okay with failure. Also, I say all these things, whether or not I'm actually a normal entrepreneur type, is up for debate. Like I think I could be, I think I could, but like I've always, in the multiple different places in my life, I've always been the number 2. Yeah. And I'm great with that. Like I'll have the one person who's the full entrepreneur spirit. Yeah. They're like, we do this, and this, let's go that. And then I'm like, I think I really like to come alongside. Yeah. And I can help. I can bolster. I can help build. I can give my time. I can give my energy. I can give my ideas. Yeah. And I'm like, let me help you do what you want to do. Yeah. And then I can bring also some of my own thoughts and ideas into this. But so like I'm not even the full like, I'm gonna start 10 businesses, fail 9 of them, but one of them is gonna succeed. But that is the entrepreneur type people. They're like, I'm gonna start a business, and if it fails, that's okay. I'm gonna start another one. I'm gonna start 2. I'm gonna start 3. I have these 10 different ideas, and I'm just gonna do it. But I mean, you can do that in America, and so and also a lot of conversations I've had with people about just like money and in the future, like one day I would love to own land and have property, whether that's a homestead, whether that's just having property with like 10 of my friends living on the property at the same time. Like that is, I think, very possible. And I know like talking with someone and they were like, how are you going to get the money? How's it going to happen? And I was like, I don't know. But honestly, like through processing and figuring that out, I was like, if the Lord wants me to have it, the Lord's going to make the way, whether that's by working a job that gives me the money to allow to do that, or just a really good deal falls in my lap and just like jump, like the Lord's going to make the way. If he wants that to happen, that doesn't take responsibility off of your shoulder, but that takes pressure off of your shoulder.
That I love that you said that, because for a lot of entrepreneurs, or for a lot of people like us that kind of took a different route in life and are kind of like trying to figure things out, like it's a lot of times where like there's like one of two things, I feel like 2 responses that are like the extremes. And it's like, one is like you don't do anything at all and you're just like, God is going to figure everything out for me. As well. Or you try to do everything yourself. And God wants you to have a balance. He wants you to rely on him, but to also put the effort in and to take action. And I think I love that you said that, because it's like, it's not that God's going to do everything for you, but if it's what he has for you, if it's what he wants for you, it's not going to be easy, but the pressure is not going to be there. He's going to support you in that. Yeah. He's going to open the doors. He's going to set you up with people to support you. He's going to put you in the right place in the right situations to help make things happen. But you're the one who still has to do it. It's just that
you have to take the steps of faith.
Exactly.
And they are steps of faith. Like that was like for me. So in back to the story of like the last 2 months, or the 2 months, December and January, then February, well, also those whole 2 months, just the past year. Okay, let's step back. Just the past year and a half, the Lord has put a lot of people in my life that, whether you want to say they're more charismatic, including this dude, more charismatic, spirit led, like more focus and intention on listening to the Spirit. Yeah. And that has just been kind of my journey, my process of listening to the Lord and trying to hear him and feel his presence. And like actually, like, 'cause also growing up, I grew up Baptist, and I'm still in a church that is more just like the Lord speaks to you through his written word and no other way. And miracles happen, but they're not very common, and they don't like really happen through people, like someone praying over you to heal you. That's just not very, like they'd be hesitant about it.
Yeah, more kind of like sensationalist.
Yeah,
leaning,
yeah.
Which like by no means we're not like a
No,
theology podcast, but for those that might not know, like sensationalists is like people that don't believe that
the
gifts of the Spirit are present in like modern day. Which I know that's not what you believe.
I'm definitely in life in a lot of ways.
You're still kind of figuring things out.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. It's like, yes, I believe the Lord works and He's active. There's stuff about tongues that you and I have talked about of personal prayer language where I'm like, I think in the Bible, when it speaks about the tongues, it's a known language that can be translated and should be translated. When people come with their personal prayer languages, I'm like, if that's something you do by yourself, great.
Yeah.
When I'm in a small little prayer time with people and someone's in the side speaking gibberish, I'm like, I don't know who that builds up. I don't like besides yourself, and that's not the point of it. Like the gifts were meant to build up the church, and so a whole nother side. But anyway, that's been something that I've been like seeking. I had a conversation with my cousin this past Sunday, and we were talking about the gifts and listening to the Spirit, and he's like, I like he grew up the same as me, and so he was like, I've never even like he's willing to seek and he's willing to look out and like see what the Bible says about it, which is awesome. But I was like, the past year and a half has been me almost daily, obviously not actually daily, but like anytime that I prayed, I would ask the Spirit to speak. Like I've been seeking this out for a year and a half, and only in the past couple months, like maybe 4 or 5 months, have I actually feel like I have been hearing from the Lord. And that's a whole nother topic and subject. But and so in the last year, well, anyways, you have to seek it out. It's and there are my dad, my family, my church that I go to currently, great people that love the Lord and live for the Lord. But they don't have this that emphasis on that, and that's fine. There are still great men and great women who love and live like are better Christians than me, who don't believe that the gifts are active, and who don't. And again, I'm still figuring all this out. I'm somewhere in the middle where people go way too far to the one side and way too far to the other side, and I'm like, I think there's a really good medium that you can strike. Anyway,
so I want to say, because like this whole journey of like learning to seek God, to seek the speaking of His Spirit, to hear Him like speaking to you, whether it's because I know a lot of times too, like sometimes the written word can inspire the speaking of the Spirit too. So it's like I hear this one thing from the word, and then I'm praying about it, and then the Spirit also speaks in accordance with that. And so like that's one thing too that like I feel like a lot of people forget too, is like seeking the speaking of the Spirit, like will always, like what the Spirit is telling you will always align with His word. And so you never just say, well, the Spirit, like, well, God told me this. And it was just like
that could also be
from the Holy
blasphemy.
Spirit. Exactly.
Like that's
and
also
so it has to go in accordance with His word. So I want you to talk a little bit just about your journey of like kind of learning to seek the Holy Spirit and seek what He was speaking through His word to you about this whole kind of leaving the union and transitioning to working with your friend.
Well, that's been, so the Lord has answered just so many instances and so many prayers in the past year. Cause I got called, the 2 months it was awesome. It was like every morning I would wake up and immediately I would kneel down and I would pray, and I'm praying for clarity. I'm praying for direction. I'm praying for wisdom. Cause at that time I was like, I still thought I had, 600, 700, maybe 1,000 hours. No, I don't know. I thought I had quite a bit left to get my journeyman's card. And so I was like, I'm off right now. It's the winter. It's slow. I didn't know when I was going to be called back, if I was going to get called back. And so I was seeking morning and night, being like, Lord, I want to leave. I want to leave the union now. I had just met my friend who owned the coffee shop. And he like would have he couldn't hire me at the time. So like I was seeking something else to do in the meantime. And so it was awesome. It's those times of reliance, and that's not every day. Like, I mean, don't think I did. I think I did one other time this week, and it's like, man, that sucks. And like that's, but it's like it's not this perfect every single day. I'm in the word for it, but it's
real.
It's life, and I wish I was more disciplined in that, but because I have the time right now, especially. But
yeah, I feel like it's when we have more time to do it sometimes too, or even more tempted not to, because we're like, oh, I actually have all this time. I want to do stuff that I want to do.
Yeah. And then I sit on the couch for 2 hours last night scrolling through Facebook, and I feel like a piece of crap. And I'm like, gosh, why did I just do that?
You're like, I could have just spent like even just 15 minutes.
I could have been doing, I could have been doing anything else, literally. any so many things that were profitable, and I chose, like, that's, anyway. And so this past, so daily seeking multiple times a day, and like I had the time since I wasn't working, I would spend like an hour plus like in the word and praying and seeking, asking the Lord to speak, asking that I would hear him and that I would feel his presence. And I think there may have been like one or two times where I felt like I actually like may have heard him speak, but at the end of those 2 months I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm going to leave the union. And then one day I get a call from the union hall being like, hey, we have a job, be there tomorrow at 6:30. And I was just like, oh my word. It's just that, I mean, it's that gut wrenching, like my stomach just twists, and I'm like, it is the last thing in the world that I want to do. I do not want to do that. But that's also been like the way that I try and let the Lord work as well, is going down a path and letting him open the doors or close the doors. Being like, Lord, I'm going to do this. If it's your will, allow it to happen. And if it's not, don't allow it to happen, and then I won't do it. And that was kind of that thing with when I got the call was, okay, I'm just going to follow. I'm just going to follow the path. And so I did that job. I did that job for 10 months, 11 months, and it was just the worst. I mean, it was I was an on-call worker. The job I was working at, it was, in Indiana, they're building an IU Health hospital downtown. And so I was working that. I was on call. The position was 12 hours, 6 days a week. And so you're working 72 hours. I was on call though. So I would get a phone call at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 or 3 times a week for the last 10 months saying, hey, someone called off, come in. And so I haven't had a consistent sleep schedule, a consistent workout schedule, a workout eat schedule. Consistent
workout.
There it is.
Schedule's been so inconsistent.
Crazy. I can't even remember about it. And for the last 10 months. And so it was horrible. And like, I would wake up at 3 a.m. even when I didn't get a call multiple times, because I was just like dreading getting called in, and my phone would go off. Like I would be like, especially, go to bed at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, get a call at 3 a.m., have 4 hours of sleep, and being like, just that, I mean, truly just gut wrenching, like the worst. This is the last thing in the world I want to do right now, but this is where I'm at. And so I'm going to try and do it the best that I can. And through the year, there have been multiple times of asking the Lord for big things, and he answers above and beyond what I thought was possible. I mean, I could give multiple instances, but I don't think we have the time. And just like, Lord, I'm asking you to do this. I want this thing done by in 2 weeks. Like I'm praying, I'm asking in faith, and even in reading a couple of places where it's like, ask in faith and the Lord will answer, and he will give you what you want type thing. Like not prosperity gospel, but it's like asking in faith, not just like, Lord, please give me this thing, but like, Father, I'm asking for this thing. I have faith that you will answer this. And I'm going to have faith that you are going to give me what I want. And it's a scary thing to ask, because like, and that's also the whole conversation with the whole gifts and the Lord speaking to you is the fear of, what if God doesn't speak to me? Does that mean I'm not saved? Does that mean I can't hear him? Like, like it is,
there's something wrong with me. Like,
it is scary. And it's asking the Lord for the faith, saying, God, give me the faith, because I am weak and I cannot do this by myself. And so, and that, like I asked the Lord for these certain things in by the end of 2 weeks, and he gave it to me in 3 days back to back at the end of that week. And I remember calling my sister, and I was like, it happened. And she was like, what are you talking? I was like, there were proficiencies. I was like, I got all 3 proficiencies in 3 days. Yep. And I didn't think that was possible. Like I think the Lord gave me favor in the people's eyes at the training center, all these things, and just like pushed me through. And I was like, oh my word. And the cool thing is a lot of these answered prayers, I remember I wanted my hours by the end of June.
Yeah.
Because it was like, maybe I could quit and then go right. And I wouldn't have to wait till the end of July. And so I asked the Lord, I was like, Lord, I want my hours by the end of June. I don't know how it's going to happen because I was still working part-time at the time. And I needed every single day. I needed to work every single day in a week and a half to get all the hours I needed. Yeah. And I was like, Lord, I like, please, I'm asking for this. And then it was just someone called off. And then he kind of got punished because he called off last second. And so I worked his shift again. And then someone got sick and I worked his shift. And then I was already scheduled for 2 other days. So I worked those. And then the next week, I remember I didn't work one of the days. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to wait. Yeah. But then that day I got off, I was like, I'm just going to check my hours just to see if I checked them multiple times, but like they hadn't fully updated yet. Yeah. I needed 6,000 again. And so I was checking, like counting down the hours, and I checked my hours and I needed 1 day less than what I thought I needed. And I was like,
so you hit the perfect amount.
I was like, okay. So, and another great thing, like I was going to be 2 hours short. If I had, if I worked all the days that I had left, I was going to be 2 hours short. And I had figured this out like a month before or 3 weeks before. And so I was like, Lord, help me get those 2 hours. I don't know how you're going to help me get those 2 hours. Like, whether it's I pick up a Sunday, which I did not want to do, or do like something, but like if I work every single day that I have, excuse me, I would still be 2 hours short. And my foreman texted the group chat and he was like, hey guys, we want to start a thing where if you skip lunch, you get an extra 30 minutes at the end of the day. I was like, yes, I want to do that. Like I don't want to skip lunch, but if the Lord, he just, it was like, here, you want those 2 hours? Technically, I had an extra 6 hours by the end of it. And then, and I was like, okay, you just, okay, that's awesome. That's crazy. And then literally there was that Monday and I was like, okay, I need 1 day less than I thought I needed. Yeah. And then I still wasn't scheduled for any days that week. Yeah. And then one guy got sick. And so I worked for him Tuesday. And at the end of the day, I was like, hey, do you know if he's still sick? And he was like, let me ask. He is. Can you work tomorrow? Yeah. And then same thing for Thursday. He's still sick. Yeah. Can you work? And so I ended up working every day that I needed. Wow. And I was like, so I was like, I don't know if the Lord was answering these prayers at the time was so that I could quit my job in July, start working at the coffee shop, all these things. But I had 2 options. I was like, either he's doing it so I can quit, or he's just doing it to show up and he's show off. And I was like, even if that's the reason, it's awesome. Yeah. And that ended up being the reason. Like there was no other reason for me to get my journeyman's card at the end of June besides the Lord just answering my prayer, because I ended up working in the union until the end of December, at the end of the new year. Yeah. And so it was like sometimes the Lord just answers just to answer and to show that he's listening. Like that was beautiful. The best, like, and that I remember my dad has said once before, talking about preaching about prayer and being like, we don't know how prayer works. We don't know why he answers all these things, but the best way to pray more is to pray more, because you pray more and then he answers those prayers. And then you are encouraged to pray more and ask for more. And that's just been like, even through all this and like finally leaving the union and just feel like the most feeling like I can breathe freely for the first time in 3.5 years, and being like, Lord, I want to always rely on you. Like I don't want a comfortable life, because when Christians get comfortable, then they stop relying on you. And I think you can go back to David, you can go back to Solomon, you can go back to so many people that when they're comfortable, I mean, David and Bathsheba, when he's comfortable at home, he's not at war where he should be, and then he sins. And that's also just in everyday life. When you're lazy, not doing anything, idleness is what breeds sin. And so like, that's now like my kind of thing of like, okay, what, now that I don't have, like, I'm still praying and asking about, the new coffee shop opening, all these things, and Lord willing, that will still happen. But, stuff is up in the air. You never know. Yeah. And asking the Lord that you will continually have me rely on you in everyday life, which means I won't have a comfortable life, quote unquote, but being like, that is still better. And it's a hard thing to ask, but like asking that in faith and continually trying to seek that, and not like put yourself in bad positions, but like being generous, being able to give to other people, being able to like, maybe I'm not rich one day, but I'm able, maybe I have a lot of cash flowing in, but 80% of that cash I can just like flow right back out to other people. And that is also just a mindset that I've been talking. I talked to someone about where they had a friend who they just viewed themselves as a pipeline for cash to flow through, to flow to other people. And the Lord goes, okay, let's see how much I can flow through you. And then and continues. And with that too, it's like, well, maybe that's the way the Lord blesses me. And I pray that is, because I love to be able to give to other people. And if he does, and it's like, wait, I'm bringing in this amount of money, I'm putting out most, but then it's like, okay, we're just now, whether I have a wife or family, it's deciding, okay, we're gonna now buy a house, we're gonna do this, and it's like leaving some of that aside to then put it towards that, and still being able to like, you can still, and that's also been a whole journey of just saving, of like of being good with your money, and biblically of being like, is it even biblical to save money? Because I'm like, what if I just give away all my money and just rely on the Lord fully, and wouldn't that be best? But I think through like
there is stewardship, you know. But like, it is very important that you talk about giving though financially too, because that's what we're actually called to do first. And handling our finances as Christians. It's give, save, and then you can spend if you have anything left. And so I think that's really good. I want, because we got to wrap up here soon, but there's so much great things that you said. One thing I love that you talked about was this idea of being uncomfortable. And I think it's really hard, you know, for people that didn't go to college or dropped out or are entrepreneurs or are pursuing trades or are pursuing sales or something, ministry or just something that kind of like is different than most of their peers. I think it's hard because a lot of times we can feel like we have to have those materialistic things to prove everyone wrong and be like, well, I have the car and I have the house and I have the smoking hot wife. And so I'm accomplished and you're not, and you spent 4 years going to college and now I'm richer than you. And it's like, that's not what God's heart is. That's really not God's heart. No. Like, and honestly, our attitude needs to be more of, Lord, give me these things so I can share them with other people.
Well, give me these things to show you off.
Exactly.
Like that was something I've written in my Bible before. I forget what Psalm it was. I forget, but like it was talking about something of like, I've come from nothing and the Lord has blessed me. And I remember writing, I was like, Lord, let this be me. Like, I didn't go to college. I'm not the smartest student in the room by any means. I'm not special, overly special in any way, shape, or form. But Lord bless me, so people are like, where did this guy come from? And I can say, the Lord God. The only, and that's dude. That was something.
The biggest flex ever too. Like when people are like, dude, you did like nothing at all to like they'll be like, yeah, you worked hard and you did this and you did that, and there'll definitely be receipts of things you've done. But like when people are like, but like, how did this actually happen? And you can just be like, God.
I mean, I did a show this beginning of last year, and I remember it was a show where I was a male lead, and I didn't at the time have like the vocal ability where I wanted to be. And I remember praying and just being like, Lord, give me the voice that I want to be able to do this well, and then be able to point it back to you. And I remember like, I think you worked through the vocal director, and like she helped me in so many ways, but like my voice went leaps and bounds within like a couple months, and I was like, that is like that is I think only from the Lord. And just a small silly thing of like singing in a show, in a musical, but also God is a father who loves us and wants to give us what we want. And that's not a prosperity gospel of asking God that he will make me rich so I can have everything. But it's like, he still does. And sometimes his answer is no. And sometimes but he will always answer. But like, there's just like small things of like, there's no way I should have but then like the Lord just kind of gave it like that.
Yeah.
And it was like
No.
awesome. And that's with life. It's like, there's no way I should have gotten to this point. There's no way I have this ability. I'm not special, smart in this way. But if someone asks, it's like, it's only through God. Like, and being able to put the glory all back to him. And that is what he wants. That is the chief end of man, is to glorify God and enjoy him forever, or enjoy God by glorifying him forever. But then,
and also, like, I think what's so important too is that, like, this will probably be the last thing because we're gonna wrap up. But just, I think what's so important about that too is like making sure the posture of our heart is in the right place. Because a lot of people will ask God for things because, well, I want to be rich.
Mm-hmm. Or I want to prove people wrong.
I want to prove people wrong. But if you're coming at it with an attitude of like, I want to, God, like, give me this blessing so that I can glorify you and bless others with it.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's like, for me, you know, the Lord giving me the gift of music. Lord, give me songs to write. Give me words to sing. Give me melodies. Give me chords. Give me giftings and abilities so that I can use it to help other people.
And then it's also lived out through, by giving it away, by saying like, I want all this stuff, but then I'm going to point it to other people. So it's not, I want this stuff to give to other people, but then you end up hoarding all of it. It's like, no, you need to flow that out. Sure. But, and that's why I don't know, if we need to end, I think just people who are going through a hard time. I mean, even the Psalm I read today of be still. And when the earth is shaking and when the mountains are crumbling, it's knowing that God is God and that he is there. And so,
for sure, like,
as far as I feel like my last like 3.5 years or whatever, 4 years hasn't been, you know, the hardest time in the world. There are people that have gone through worse stuff, but it's still been just trusting in him and consistently actually just being still, being like, I want to move, I want to change, and then being like, no, I need to stay.
All right, so we'll wrap up here, because we got to actually get to our in-person meeting part of the day,
and not go on for
like I said, 4 hours.
Go on for 4
like
hours.
We could. This has been great. I love this. As always, you guys can like, subscribe, follow. And if you are a young man between the ages of 18 and 24, at 11 a.m. every Saturday, we have an in-person meeting where we do small group times and just talk about life and what we're going through. So if you're interested, go onto our website, thewildcardproject.org. You can sign up on there, or you can DM us on social media at the Wildcard Project on Instagram. But with that being said, Caleb, do you want to go ahead? Do you have like some final thoughts, and then I'll have you pray? Or
I feel like I did, but I'm probably good. I mean, I'll probably have final thoughts of just be still. And that was, I think, a big thing for the past 4 years of being still and let the Lord work. And again, like what we said of it doesn't take the responsibility off of you, but it takes the pressure off where it's, and that was my decision to leave the union, was praying and hearing the Lord. And I was looking for something else. I was trying to find a different job, and I heard him say, just wait, soon you'll leave, but just wait right now for just a little while. And I didn't know how long that was going to be. It ended up being like 3 weeks, but it's just wait and wait on the Lord. He will open the doors. He will bring the doors, and it sucks and it's hard. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. And whatever he brings will always be better than what you can force.
That's good.
So,
all right. Do you want to go ahead and pray us out?
Yeah. Father, thank you for this time where Malachi and I can just talk and hopefully speak some wisdom and speak some truth and speak truth from your word, Lord. Please be with everyone or anyone who watches, Lord, who may be going through a similar waiting period, who's waiting on you, and maybe they've been waiting for 5 or 6 or 10 plus years, whether it's for a job, whether it's for a spouse, or just whatever we may be waiting on, Lord. give them peace, peace that passes understanding, and bring people around them, Lord. Bring them a community, whether they have it or not. Bring people that love them, people that love you, and so through loving them, they're just showing your love, and they as they're overflowing with your love, Lord, it overflows to other people. Lord, just help us to be still and know that in the soft whisper is where your voice is heard, not in the thunder, not in the storm, which is still your power and your ability, Lord, but you speak in the quiet moments and in the still moments, Lord. So just please help us to listen for you and to love you and to live for you in all that we do and all that we say. Thank you for this podcast, Lord, and what they're trying to do. Bless it, Father, that they will do all this for you, and that will be evident and that will be clear. In your name, amen.
Amen. Well, thanks, Caleb, for coming on. Y'all, I know these are some longer episodes, but there's a lot of great stuff in here. There's a lot of great content and everything that Caleb said. And so I hope that you guys were able to glean something from this, and be encouraged. But thank you all for listening. Thanks you, Caleb, for coming on, and just telling your story. We really appreciate it. So
I'm 26, so I gotta get out of here. Apparently it's only for 19 to 24-year-olds, so I gotta leave. But
no, anyways, but appreciate you, Caleb, just having an older and wiser voice on the podcast. But appreciate you, and thank you all for listening. Peace.